Coach, how you doing, Coach? Coach, I'll die for you, Coach. I just want you to believe in me. I just wanted you to believe in me. Let's go to the Lions.
And they basically told me if I'm there, it's a possibility they're going to take me. So I had my phone right next to me, ringer on all the way up. Kept checking it, I was nervous, but when I got that call, it was just, I don't even know how to describe it, the feeling.
The Lions take one of my favorite players in this draft class, Isaac Tesla out of Arkansas. I'm giving this an A+. Almost 6'4", 214 pounds, ran a 4.43 at the combine.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, Lions Talk Live. It is the Monday after the draft. It is Monday morning, and we're going to break down some information we got from you for you guys yesterday afternoon. We've got a whole lot of stuff to come at you, and yes, I did talk to 3 different NFL scouts. As most of you guys know, I scout, but not for football. And happen to have a conversation with all 3 of them yesterday. We're all in a group meeting, sharing some new ideas, etc., that we're all going to use for our respective athletes. And I was impressed with a lot of them, what they had to say about the Detroit Lions draft class. I think there's a lot more to be had with this draft class than perhaps meets the eye. I get also a lot of Lions fans, national media members, content creators, however you want to word it, are not happy with the Lions draft class, and maybe that's why we should all believe that it's an A+++. We're going to break it down. I thought they had a lot of real good points, and then once I heard these points, I kind of put on my coaching hat and said, you know what? There could be a whole lot more to this draft class than meets the eye. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into the 6 headlines now, and I do want to tell you guys a little bit later today, I have a breaking news story that I'm going to get over to you. Some of you guys want some more news about, hey, maybe we need to work on the defense a little bit more. It sounds like the Detroit Lions have done just that, and after the draft, but you're going to have to wait for that later today for me to get over to you. Didn't have time to get it prepped for this show. All right, real quick before we get the show moving, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that march for 700 subs, something like that, and we are exactly 70 subs away from it. So if you can help out with that, that would be most wonderful and excellent. Also, if you have a half second of time, it doesn't cost a dime. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, hit all the buttons. As you probably know by now, we're trying to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States of America, go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. You now see the number on your screen, 269-998-2384. You want somebody who's got over 30 years of experience. You want somebody who's not afraid to tell you how it is. If a house stinks, if it's in bad shape, hey, grab some dynamite and blow it up because you need to start all over. This is a great deal. This is not a great deal. You get it. You want somebody who's going to run their mouth and not be afraid of really trying to bruise any feelings, just shoot you straight. Go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. All right, with all that done, said, out of the way, let's get into the first segment of the day. And as you probably know, that is 5 headlines now. I'm going to have fun talking about this rookie class with you guys. We'll get to that in the main topic today, but some of it will be ahead of the time. As first of the 5 headlines now, Lions hand undrafted rookie a bag to sign with them. Story by Joe Summers of Fanside. We all get it. The Lions, it seems like more and more there's corroborating evidence that Zadarius Smith is going to be returning to the team. Zadarius Smith's nephew, Jackson Meeks, is an undrafted free agent who got quite an offer from the Detroit Lions to come on over. Over $200,000 to sign with the team, and that is a lot for an undrafted free agent. We get it. The Lions want to get younger, faster, bigger, stronger, all the above at wide receiver. In 2024, Meeks stepped in with 78 receptions for, 1,021 yards and 7 touchdowns. Second in the country with 21 contested catches. So if you haven't checked him out, go and check him out. Last year, Lions had Isaiah Williams. We all get it. He was the undrafted guy from Illinois. and looked like he was ready to make the team. Unfortunately, Lions did cut him going into the 53-man roster cut down. He went over, I want to say, to the Cincinnati Bengals or something, and after that, I stopped paying attention to him. The Lions have brought in a number of notable undrafted free agent rookies, and I do think I think they've got some pretty good guys out of that class. We'll have to see if any of them make the team, but I do think the Lions have as good an eye as any team in this league in regards to the guys who don't get drafted. You could argue they've hit on some real nice ones, and that trend could continue this offseason with this incoming class. All right, analysts grade Lions, quote, outside the box 2025 draft. Detroit Lions on SI.com, story by Christian Boer. Hey, you can all have your thoughts, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't let anybody tell you your thoughts wrong. If you think the Lions rookie class was terrible, go with it. Let them prove you differently on the field. If you think they were the greatest draft class ever, go with that too. I can only tell you my thoughts, and we'll get into that, the main topic of the day, because after talking with those three individuals yesterday, I thought they brought up a lot of good points, and I think we're all probably going to realize the brilliance. Just maybe it's how I'm wired, being positive, Pete, and all, but I do think once they pointed some things out, once I put on my coaching hat, not a reporter hat, I started thinking about it. And I think Brad Holmes might have been far more brilliant than any of us realized. All right, going through these grades here. Sports Illustrated gave the Lions a B-. I'm not going to break down everything they have to say. They are going to say that going for Isaac TeSlaa was a little bit of a reach. And I get a lot of people probably have that thought. We'll get into him a little bit more during the main top of the day. ESPN C+. Their biggest thing is they thought the Lions needed to get an edge in round 1 or 2. Obviously, that didn't happen. He did help with both lines, and they do note that. It seems like everybody notes that. The Lions were focused on adding more depth, adding more abilities, more athleticism. A lot of people pointed that out with both lines, offense and defensive lines, and I don't think anybody's going to argue. The Lions did achieve that. All right, NFL.com has a B. Washington Post has a C-. USA Today has a B. CBS Sports a B. Although if you saw the new trailer, they did think the TeSlaa pick, however you want to pronounce it, is a A+, and we'll get into that. But I know I've already shared with you guys my thoughts. I really like the pick. Yes, maybe you paid a little bit more than you could have or should have for him. But at the end of the day, if that guy ends up being a home run, nobody's going to care that you gave up a couple end of the third round picks. All right, Yahoo Sports has a B. Associated Press, I do pay attention to them a little bit more selfishly because I do work for them and did work for them full time. They gave the Lions a B-. Pro Football Focus, for whatever. I know some of you guys love Pro Football Focus. Some of you think they're total not great. They gave them a B-. So go with that. And as we've said, opinions seem to be all over the place. You do have some people that really think the Lions did well. Others, they think that the Lions really missed. Whether or not there's any validity to that, who knows? All right, roundtable. Favorite Detroit Lions 2025 draft pick, SI.com. Story by good old Vinny Cerrito. I do like Vinny's work. He does a pretty good job. All right, getting into him. They break it on down. What's the best pick? So it does seem like across national media, this is getting a lot of attention. Ahmad Hassanein. So if you guys haven't seen the video here, I'm going to play it for you real quick. I know yesterday I was like, man, I'm going to get lit up if I play this thing by YouTube, but I'm going to roll the dice and see if they light me up over it.
I'm doing good, sir. How are you? Oh, yes, sir. I'm tired of waiting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm ready. Coach, you don't understand, Coach. I'll die for that team. I just need you fucking to believe in me, Coach. I'll bring everything to Detroit. I promise you. I promise you, Coach. Coach, how you doing, Coach? Coach, I'll die for you, Coach. I just want you to believe in me. I just want you to believe in me, Coach. I'll die on that field for you, Coach. I promise I would. Oh, I can't wait. Oh my God, I can't wait. Just let me be in there. I can't wait. Take it. You go to the line. I'm doing good, sir.
All right. So, hey, sorry about that. I clicked it twice, trying to end it. You're competing against that guy to get onto the roster, and I think that guy's going to give you everything he's got on a regular basis. We can all have different thoughts about these guys, but we will talk about it in the main top of the day. The one thing I will say is, like we talked about with this headline, it does seem like the national media all thinks the Lions got a bit of a steal here, and you guys already know more than likely about the Frazier. Both Hassanein and then Frazier, it does sound like national media believes the Lions superseded their values by getting them that late. I don't know what either guy will do. I know I did a video for you guys draft day on Saturday saying Frazier, in my belief, could have been a late second, maybe third round pick. The Lions got him in the fifth round, so they superseded value there. Hassanein, I think he is going to be something. I think he's got a motor. I think he's got a ton of size, athleticism, and he's going to be coachable. So if you put all those things together, you believe in the coaching staff, I think the Lions are going to have a real nice pick there. It doesn't mean he's going to be a starter. Doesn't mean he's going to be a Hall of Famer. It does mean he's going to probably work his butt off trying to make this team better. And as he's on the field, when he's practicing, trying to get better, he's going to make everybody else better. All right, Lions NFL draft grades. Mel Kiper Jr., other experts weigh in on Detroit's 2025 draft class. Sporting News, story by Mike Moranis. Getting to be a bit of a topic here. We get it. Mel Kiper Jr., people like what he has to say. I think he's more, in my opinion, he's more entertainment than actual knowledge and value. And it's not that he doesn't know football and that he doesn't know scouting, but I think Mel Kiper's best days of analyzing players, breaking them down, actually knowing the insides about them, I think that's been gone for decades. It's just because as his career developed into what it is now, he is a face of the NFL draft on ESPN. He's more about just being on there, offering some opinions, hot takes, or whatever that gets people fired up. I don't think he spends as much time really on players. With that being said, he did give the Lions a C+, said that, hey, he thought the Lions, like everybody else, should have went round 1 or 2 with an edge. I get that probably would have made the fan base overall happy or happier. Thought the Lions should have drafted Mike Green at 28. Also talked about a ton about on his different mock drafts. Lions taking James Pierce Jr., we get somebody traded up for him and got him a couple spots before us. And I don't think anybody really, maybe some people did, but I didn't really believe that they would go for him just because, in my opinion, Pierce Jr. and Mike Green both probably way closer to the 220 range. Maybe if they have some weights on them, when they're on the scales, they're in the 230s, 40s, or whatever. But I don't think either one of them would fit in. Did talk about Ratledge, how he loved that pick, and I'm going to guess 99% of Lions fans probably do like that pick. That dude is big. He's athletic. He's a mauler. He's got everything you want in an offensive lineman. Kind of threw some shade at the Lions for the Tisla pick. Did point out, like everybody else, about the Hassanein trade or whatever the selection there, I should say, and that did think that this guy's got some upside potential. So it seems like everybody's pretty universally on his train when it comes to the Detroit Lions in the future. All right, speaking of which, how Ahmed Hassanein will impact the Detroit Lions, story by SB Nation, Eric Schlitz with this one. This is probably going to be an old story in short order for every Lions fan. He's a hot topic right now. The video went viral. You know, you like everything about the kid. You like his size. You like his athleticism, his desire, his passion. He will impact the field because he probably is going to be one of the hardest working individuals out there. Whether that's going to translate into development and usable skills for Lions, we're going to have to wait and see. But I will throw this at you just in total coach speak. Everybody who wants to make that 53-man roster, who's at an edge or defensive line, we'll just say this, has got to compete against that guy. He is coming after you at all times, and the offensive line will be the other side of the story. He's going to be coming after the quarterback, the running back, you get it, on a consistent basis. He will be the Terminator out there, and I don't think you're going to be able to slow him down. I think he's going to come after everybody, and everybody's going to have to play their A game every snap against that guy, which makes him better, makes them better, and makes everybody watching him compete that knows he's trying to take your roster spot. You're going to have to pick things up. At the end of the day, that's going to be one of the more brilliant moves of this draft class, in my opinion. All right. Does Lions GM Brad Holmes have a reach problem in the NFL draft? Question mark. SB Nation, story by Jeremy Risman. This will be a fair question because I think we all get it. We gave up a lot for Broderick Martin. That didn't work. But you look at a lot of the other trades he's made, and they do seem to be working. Now, everybody's going to say Broderick Martin appears to be a bust. If he doesn't make it this year, you know what? He probably is going to be labeled a bust, and he's going to probably be out of here. There's just too much depth on this team to keep him around for another year to develop, plus his contract's going to expire. We all get that. Nobody bats 1,000. Brad Holmes is not afraid to make trades. Vegas clearly hit on the numbers with him, said the Lions were going to make, or Brad Holmes was going to make 3 trades. He made 3 trades, and somebody wants some money. I get all that. Brad Holmes, in all of his draft classes now, are approaching 20 trades. So he is Trader Brad. He's going to move and shake. Does he fall in love with players, as this story suggests? It could be a question to ask. In my opinion, doesn't have to be your opinion. I like the T-Slub pickup. Did you give up too much? It's a fair point. Some of the other trades, I don't think the move up into the 5th round, we gave up 2 picks to get 2 picks back for Frazier. I don't think anybody's going to balk at that one. It was a fairly, I think, to whether eye test or value chart or whatever, a fairly good trade. Jamison Williams, nobody's probably looking at that move now and saying, hey, we gave up too much. But Brad does like to trade. He does like to swing picks. And it's probably going to be a year or 2 from now, people are going to look back at this trade, or excuse me, this year's draft class and say, hey, is he got a problem? Does he want to roll the dice too much? I would love to hear what you guys have to say on this. I have my opinions. My opinions are he's fine. But if 1 or 2 more of these deals bust, sort of like it appears Broderick Martin's going to, I think the fans are going to want to drop the hammer on the trades in the draft. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get over to the main topic today. I think we've got something here. I think we've got a lot of positive Pete moments. Let's see what the Duke Crew has to say. And where's that button? All right, like you guys saw with the headline or the thumbnail, whatever you want to call it, I talked to a couple different friends of mine yesterday for probably about an hour. So I had a meeting or whatever you want to call it, developmental class for scouting and stuff like that. Watched it and everything, went through it, some of the new techniques, stuff they want us to use, yada, yada, yada. Share that with some other friends like we normally do. They share some of the new things they get. I share things we get. You know, it's just not uncommon. Everybody's looking for an advantage that's going to keep you employed, keep your accuracy score going up. If you don't, like at least in my field, if you don't have a 98% correct rate or win rate, whatever you want to call it, in picking out players, you're terminated. And I got to imagine at the NFL level, it's probably no different. So you're always trying to help people out, because people that help you out, you help out, and vice versa. One hand washes the other, or whatever analogy you want to throw out there. So with that being said, a lot of them did bring up the same point. Look at the Lions' depth across the board. Did we do anything to change the quarterback position? No, but I think we all agree Jared Goff's probably not going to get supplanted anytime soon unless something really unforeseen happens. Running back room, you know what? You got a lot of depth there. Let's analyze just this draft class. Did the Lions get deeper and create more competition at the wide receiver room? I think we'd all say yes, whether it's the undrafted guys, the drafted guys. Did they get bigger, faster, stronger, and create more competition for snaps, repetitions? I think most of us are going to say yes, they did. They achieved all those things. So move on from there. Tight end position, no real changes there. He did bring in the undrafted guy. Maybe he can help out with competition. Offensive line, I don't think without a shadow of a question of a doubt, that Lions offensive line, the guys across the board, whether you're talking about Giovanni Manu, Sorsdale, any of the guys we brought in, Frazier, Ratledge, or anybody else, you've got competition for snaps. Nobody is sitting on that sideline saying, I don't have to really go hard this rep because I already know these guys over here have no chance of beating me out. Lions offensive line, I think it's a free-for-all. And there are going to be some names. I won't be surprised if you see some snaps taken from some of the prominent players, whether that's Decker, Frank Ragnow, Graham Glasgow. Man, here's a real question. Is Glasgow even going to make the 53-man roster? I went on the show with you guys yesterday. I hadn't really thought about it a ton, but I do think there's a real possibility Frazier is a starter opposite Christian Mahogany. Could Ratledge be a starter and Mahogany sit? I don't know. But the Lions have created a competitive situation where you're going to see everybody working as hard as they can because A, they want to make the team, B, they want to play. And I think that's one of the brilliant moves of this draft. Moving on to the defensive line. I don't think they're going to rush a Lee McNeil back anytime soon. They're going to take their time with him. They just paid him a bag of cash. They also get he is a dominant defensive tackle. But now look at that defensive tackle position. Roy Lopez, Miles Adam, DJ Reader. You got the new kid we just brought in, Talik Williams, amongst, Lee McNeil and everybody else out there. Could you say Levi Onwuzurike, Mekhi Wingo are going to be battling for reps at the DTI or DT strong or S, yeah, I think you could say you've got 6 or 7 guys now who are going to be battling. The breaking news story that we'll have later today involves another guy, person of interest, who's going to be in there battling. So you get it. The defensive line position alone, and we haven't even talking about the edges yet with Pascal, Aiden Hutchinson, or Alaquin Muhammad, or anybody else. Think about all the depth and now competitive nature. I mean, heck, you got the kid we were just talking about, Ahmed Hassanein, coming in and competing. All those guys just on the O&D lines are going to be battling each other to make the O-line and D-line stronger. And not just, hey, I'm battling to take your snaps. I'm battling to keep that guy off the quarterback or running back who wants to make the 53-man roster. That's where I think if you look at this Lions draft, you've got some real potential for upside, real potential for iron, sharpening iron. We've talked it all off season about there are 50 linebackers on this team. And I know that's not an actual number, but you guys get it. There's a ton of linebackers out there. Is Malcolm Rodriguez going to be able to recover in time to really make the roster? Is one of the other 29 different linebackers going to push somebody else to be a little bit better? Iron sharpens iron, put pressure on it and all that and try to make it into a diamond. Now look at the safety room. We added Dan Jackson. I get he's mostly projected to be a special teamer, but that guy plays hard. Even though I have my faults with him drafting him because he's got 1 year of playing experience as a safety, as a starter, but watch how he plays. Watch him on special teams. Watch him all that. That guy's running through walls. Sounds like Hassanein, if you ask me. So there's a lot of similarity with a lot of these guys. And Dominic Lovett, him, Teasler are going to come into that wide receiver room along with Meeks and everybody else. Everybody's going to be battling. The brilliance, in my opinion, and it sounds like, in my opinion, it's basically based on the buddies I talked to, is the Lions already had a deep team. I think everybody got set. This is going to be one of the deepest teams the Lions have had in a gajillion years. There's just no real weakness. So what do you do if you're Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, Calvin Shepard, and whoever else you want to throw into the mix? What do you do to try to get the most out of the 53 guys that you're ultimately going to have be your team for 2025/6? You've got 97 guys on the roster right now in one way, shape, or form. Half of them, basically, are not going to be here. And they all want to be employed. They all want to be a Detroit Lion. Let that sink in. Unlike 10 years ago, heck, 6 years ago, that wasn't the case. Now everybody wants to stay here. Nobody wants to be the guy cut. Everybody wants to be a Detroit Lion. So what do? You create depth. You create competition. You create an investment. People know every NFL team loves their draft picks. They don't want to get rid of them. They want to keep them. Obviously, the Detroit Lions love to keep their draft picks and then get them to develop. But the brilliance of this particular draft class seems to be the depth and competition you've now brought in there. You can't replicate that with any amount of money, any kind of talk, any kind of anything other than if a guy feels threatened that you could take my spot, you could take my contract, you could take my spot on this team, I now have to bust my butt even harder in practice, in OTAs, in the times nobody wants to grind. 3 or 4 years ago, whenever you want. How about this? The very first year that this regime was here. If you walked into that Ford Field game against the 49ers, you could tell, hey, these are clearly the best Lions players, and they're not that great. The drop-off from the guy starting to the guy backing up was noticeable. And part of that was, hey, the rookies coming in from the draft were probably amongst your best 20% of the team. Can you say that now? I don't know. Can you say last year's draft class, even though a lot of them didn't start, is that more of a reflection? This team just has that much talent where rookies aren't going to come in and beat out veterans. So now look at the 53-man roster, or whoever you want to put on there. Who do you think is going to be the 53-man roster when it's all said and done? And how much does this class push guys to pick up their pace, go harder? Zadarius Smith, I think we all agree he's probably going to be here 5 months from now when the season starts, or 3 months from now, whenever it is. But how much does everybody push each other to get the best version of themselves onto that 53-man roster? And when it's all said and done, we can have our problems with the draft. We can have our problems with, hey, we didn't take this guy or that guy. But the other question is, do the Lions really do believe that Davenport, Wingo, Levi Onsarike, Alaquin Muhammad, Hassanein, all these guys are going to make that line better, where we didn't need to add some, free agent or, $100,000, $200,000 guy that we didn't have to reach, and for the 28th pick for some guy that the coaching staff didn't believe in. I think we all needed to look in the mirror and say the Lions, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, everybody else might have just been far more educated and brilliant than most of us sitting around saying, man, why did we just take this guy? Why did we trade for that guy? They created an environment here where you are going to have to bust your butt in order to compete. And if you don't, you will get ran over. That's why I got to say, what does the Duke crew have to say? I'm really thankful for the kind of the thoughts we got out of that conversation yesterday. And yes, it did pass on some new techniques too. And I learned a few things. All right, Duke crew, you heard me ramble. Let's see what you guys have to say. Let me scroll to the top of the screen. Moonscar, good morning. Duke crew starting lineup. I guess we'll see. We will see. But I'm liking it more and more. And I know we're going to face a tough schedule. I get all that. But I also think the Detroit Lions might, once again, I'm not going to say we're in 15 games. That's, if it happens, great. Hey, it's real great. But I think there's a real opportunity the Lions win the division once again and once again compete for the number one seed. And part of it, because this draft class provides more youth, athleticism, and competition to the team. All right, Bo, good morning, Duke crew. Class is in session. I brought my pencil. Exclamation point. Woo, I'm down with that. Moonscar Blade, hey, Bo, give me something to write on, man. Hey, slide him some paper, man. 11 on, I heard on YouTube that without an edge rusher, we aren't even making the playoffs. Take everything with a grain of salt. I'm seeing the wisdom more and more. Obviously, I went on record when we drafted players and say, I like what we have, but taking a step back, listening to what some of these people have to say, there were some things I missed, which now makes me even more excited for this draft class. And to be honest, the team overall as a whole. Clark, let the debates begin. I am slowly warming up to the incoming rookies. I'm praying I'm wrong on them. Hey, I get there's some people that really don't like it, think we should have done different stuff. I do wonder, though, if that's just our nature as Lions fans from being beat up for, half a century with bad football in Detroit. Are we just always going to debate any pick out there? We should have went with this guy or that guy. I mean, I'll leave that to you guys to digest. Kill shots. Hey, talk about somebody I haven't seen in a hot minute. Good morning, Duke crew! Exclamation points. You may want to update the description. It says subscribe so we can get to 7,000 subs. You blew past that, brother. Yeah, sorry about that, man. I thought I updated it, but maybe I missed something. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. Bo, what do you guys think? Think the is going to look like this year? Oh, yeah. Think the. All right. Well, we'll have to figure out that. I think the team's going to look pretty dang tough. Silver Server, good morning, Coach Noah. Back at you. Bo, teacher, whoops. We'll find out. Silver Server, what the duets, where the duets at? We'll find out. They're probably doing stuff in the chat, right? Detroit D, greetings and salutations, everyone. Same to you, my friend. Big Eddie, greetings and salutations. We have great depth across the table on this team, I believe. Injuries should be less bothersome. Injuries are always going to pack a team. I get that. But to your point, Eddie, man, other than Goff going down, I think we could survive a whole lot of injuries, especially on the offensive and defensive line, where I think the Lions are saying, hey, you need to constantly have great depth there because those guys, they take the most contact out of everybody other than maybe you could argue running backs. All right, Pierce, at least I can say yes to the Edmund Hassanein today. Yes, yeah. And I'm trying to work his name, Hassan. So I'll keep working on it. Pierce and no to Davenport. Hey, he might be a great rotational guy and maybe he'll stay healthy that way. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. I did see that Hassan draft video. That guy is going to give everything he has to the team. I agree with it. Could be a steal. Pierce Sargent, what do you think? I agree. That kid's going to come in, guns blazing, looking to do. He's got nothing to lose. He comes in and crushes it. Hey, that's why you draft him. If he comes in and flames out, well, we gave him a shot. And I can't wait to the video later today. Some of you guys may already know the news, but I just didn't have time to prep it today. Matt, so are we going to sign Big Z? When are we going to sign Big Z? We have to think about all the benefits it would bring, not just from his game, but his influence on the young D lineman we just drafted. I agree, Matt. I think you're spot on. I do think he's going to come in. Brad kind of alluded to it last week. Hey, we put something out in front of his agent or whatever Brad said. I'm paraphrasing there. But I do think he's going to come back. But he's a veteran. He's a very esteemed veteran. So I think they're just going to let him rest a little bit longer into preseason and stuff like that and then bring him in. Bo, okay, Waddle, just say no. Fair enough. Vincent E., good morning. Coach Dan of the Duke Crew, back at you. Any more? Good morning, Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! And thank you for that, as always, Henry. Pierce, Trey Tipton reminds me of a defensive end version of Rodrigo. Yeah, that's probably a fair comparison. Pierce, Bobo trying to get positive and say yes to something. Hey, they do that one step at a time. We got a 10-step process here. Silver, let me tell you something, Coach. All those articles around famed writers from saying this and that, it is clear that none of these people know the Lions the way we do. I would agree with that for the vast majority of them. You got to be in it to see things. Yeah, and that's what I was saying about with Mel Kiper. I think when he honestly started his publication, if you guys don't remember back in the late 70s, he put in a ton of work into a magazine that he did basically helping with the NFL draft, his thoughts for people worldwide or whoever was interested. And I do think at that point in the 80s, he did a lot of investigating, looking into players. I just think those days are long gone. I think he's more out there. People hand him little sheets, some tidbits, and he's more there for entertainment purposes. Just greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. I've been thinking about this draft. Does it mean Wingo, Zadarius Smith, and others are better than we are all thinking? Question mark. Maybe Brad is right and edge wasn't as big a need. I do think, if Wingo heals up, you saw some stuff out of him as a rookie last year, and you could throw a lot of other players out there. Levi Onwuzurike and others out there. Maybe it's not as big or as alarming as we wanted to believe. Matt, I think Z is the last piece we need to sign this year and make a legitimate run again. That is, if we can stay healthy. Yeah, health was always going to play a part with things. I think you're right, Matt. France, other than Smith, are there any other edges we could still bring in? I don't know the free agency list. I doubt if anybody's trading at this point, but maybe somebody does. Bears say yes to Amin Hassanein, and no to Davenport. We can do both. All right, fair enough. Bo, what are the odds we suffer injuries like last year? Question mark. It would be astronomical. I would hope it's about 0, but injuries are so hard to predict, man. Matt, I'm sure I'm not the only one thinking, but I'm very curious to see how Hassanein turns out. My only question is, how long will it take? Question mark. We're only in our Super Bowl window for so long. I agree with that. It will be interesting to see what they can do to coach him up, get him up to speed, but I have no doubt his effort is going to always be there. How the results are going to pan out, wait and see, my friend. Henry Moore, say Duke Crew, what's up with the clocks? An hour ago, it was 6:45. Now I checked, it's 6:50. Time warp? Maybe. Hey, let's do the time warp again. Five Fingers Freddy, I'm having a hard time with the draft. Someone help me out the clip. Tell me I'm wrong. Hey, I really like it, especially the more I analyze it, I like it, but it's okay to have your own thoughts for sure. Matt, France, don't think we need any other edge rushers. We'll bring Z back. I think you are correct. Frank Tank, what up, Duke Crew? East Side, woo! Go Lions, back at you. Drake Lisbon, bring back James Houston. Hey, I wouldn't be upset if that happened. Frank Tank, now it's time to get on with the season. You all can keep up with the dang pass rusher and just get ready to go. I don't care what anybody says. One pride, all grit all the way, my friend. Bo, when I think about a quote Super Bowl window, I think about the Patriots and theirs. Yeah, over a decade. Could it be? Would he have something like that? Let's start with one, then get greedy and go for two. Matt, you're wrong, Freddie. I like that. I like it. Matt, trust. I was same thinking boat as you. But after more deep dives and such, I don't think it's as bad after all. Yeah, I personally think now that we've looked at it, examined it, the competition value of this draft alone is going to make the team much, much better. Iron sharpens iron. Put a bunch of pressure on a piece of coal, either it becomes dust or a diamond. So that's one I've used forever in coaching. Frank, think James Houston cannot wear Levi, Pascal, Muhammad, Wingo, Jockstrap, bro, go Lions. Fair enough. Quentin, great salutations, y'all. I don't know what the heck is going on with the draft, coach. What do you got? I think, hey, you brought in a lot of competition. You got more athletic and you got bigger and faster, stronger. So from those alone, I think there's intrinsic value there, Quentin. Steve, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew, exclamation point. Just got back from Holton, Michigan, where I had attended my granddaughter's graduation from MUT. Good to be back and in the chat. Glad to have you back. Congrats on the graduation, my friend. Matt, some, if not most of the guys were drafted were people most fans had to dig deeper to understand. Yeah, they probably weren't. I think to your point, Matt, a lot of people get emotional or upset when they don't know the prospect that was drafted. They're like, why? Who's this guy? I don't know anything about him. and that's probably part of the issues or situation that arises. T-Slip, for example, I think he's probably the biggest name on the list just because we traded up a lot for him. We got him, and just most people hadn't heard of him. I think that's where some of the emotions come into play. So, Small, I think we helped make that offensive line depth great. I agree with that. Other than that, I guess we will see. Yeah, wait and see. So, how many O-linemen are there going to dress on Sunday? 8, 9, Decker, Mahogany, Frank, Rutledge, Sewell, Glasgow, Skip, Asawa, Frazier, Manu, other year taking a spot. Too much talent? I don't know. I think, man, you might keep 9 guys. Man, on the 53, though, on active day, I guess wait and see. But you know what? Here's what we'll say, Silver. They're all going to be competing and making each other better. Frank, Tesla will have 5 touchdowns this season. Let's go. I think he's got a lot of potential because the schemes we're all anticipating with the offense, plus the coverages the main guns are going to put on them, what they're going to have to leave with Tesla, he might have a lot of one-on-one chances. And at his size, with his vertical and catch radius, yeah, I know I've talked about before. I think you get about halfway through the season. That's where you might see him really skyrocket. All right, Frank, think the Egyptian 5 sacks this year, Goal Lions, could be true. Hookadoo. Now would be a perfect time to bring Z Smith back. He only has 2 or 3 years left in the NFL. Now we have our rookie edge also to coach up. Yeah, probably we'll see him back. Pat, I'm with you, Frank. The Tank Tesla is going to be a great ad. I think so too. Matt, I think at the very least, Tesla will become a replacement and even upgrade it for Tim Patrick. Correct. So that's a win for sure. Yeah, and I think some of these additions, you look at what the Lions already have, some nice talent there, but they're on one-year contracts. You now have that replacement coming in for them. Frank Tank and Glasgow will be starting guard with the Detroit Lions. Maybe. We will see. He's going to have to work for it, just like everybody else. David Bing, everyone, what is going on? Question mark, 2 likes. Come on, Duke Crew, hit that like and subscribe button. Yeah, for my screen, I can't see it. So hey, if you guys can hit the like and subscribe, that would be great. And thank you. Matt Ratledge will be solid and will be an excellent replacement piece for a compliment, please. Excuse me, for Mahogany. There you go. Troy D, I thought we was drafting for impact players, not just for depth. I hope this gets us over the hump this year and with all the mobile quarterbacks we face. Yeah, it'll be interesting seeing what Calvin Shepard does differently to contain the mobile quarterbacks versus Aaron Glenn. I like Aaron Glenn. I thought he did a great job. We obviously struggled during his regime with mobile quarterbacks. Frank Tank, and I hate to tell you this, people, Z will not be a Detroit Lion unless he swallows his pride and takes $5 million. We'll find out 100%. Voltron Force. Hooker has to be better than I thought because we didn't draft a replacement. You know, I was a little surprised, maybe like the 7th round, 6th round, something like that. We didn't add a quarterback. But I do know they brought in, I forget where he's from, but undrafted quarterback. So maybe Jake Fromm comes back too for training camp. JC, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Matt, in your opinion, you don't draft the way Brad does for impact players. Get multiple positions, solid development guys. Okay, I'm down with that. Look at it. I was one of the first 2, Dave Bing. There you go. Susan, good morning. Exclamation point. Depth, speed, size. I like what we did. Some do like it. Silver, and they got the center from Arizona State, Leaf Fuatu, 6'2", 320 pounds. Heck of a road grinder. You never know when somebody might emerge and pop a veteran. Glasgow out of there. There's going to be a whole lot of people working their butts off to make this roster, especially on the offensive line. Non-laughers, good morning. Dan, the Duke Crew, exclamation point. The draft tells me Zaboom is coming back. It seems like people are leaning that way for sure. Man, I don't know, Frank. His nephew signing here gives the thought that he might like to return. He always said he loved it here, and I think his wife is a rapper from the D or something. So, yeah, she is from the Detroit area. Henry Moore, I personally like the picks. How many hidden gems did we get? We'll find out. Question mark. How many super players are there going to be there in the rough? How fast can they get up to speed? Are we better? I say, heck yeah. I'm down with that. I like the positive thought there. Server. You remember when Miami with Jimmy Johnson had to let Jack Del Rio go because they had just drafted Zach Thomas, and he was wrecking people. A tackling machine. Yeah, that is true. Jack Del Rio, fine player, but he got beat out. Frank Tank, this team will be 4-1 in the first 5 games, Kansas City and Baltimore. I'm down with that. I'd be okay with a 4-1 start. Silver, by the way, 6'2" is good height for a center, especially at 320 pounds. Matt, all in all, I like our depth after the draft and off season prior to draft. I don't think we got a whole lot of impact players really give or take, but we definitely got more depth. Yes, the depth has skyrocketed. Frank Tank, Minnesota, Green Bay, and Chicago will have a hard time winning 9 games. Let's hope so. Let's hope they all combine for 0 wins. Maybe get some ties with each other. Matt, the hardest question is, do we have what it takes now to win the whole thing, which has always been the end goal? Question mark. TB, totally honest, I'm not sure we're even with the fully healthy team. Even with the fully healthy team last year, I think, could we have beaten Philly? Sure. Would we have beaten Philly? I think it would have been a coin flip. But obviously, the injuries hurt us quite substantially by the playoffs. Matt, time will tell, 100%. Jerome, still need depth on the D line, not just bodies and cheap fill-ins. There you go. I like the way you're thinking. Coach Rock, good morning, all. That would be good news. So hope the scouts are right. I think, Coach, look at it from your perspective. You've been a coach forever. You look at what they created what the NFL scouts were saying. Look at the battles at almost every position for Lions. You can probably exclude quarterback, maybe punter and kicker, but just everywhere else across the board. Use the safety room, for example. Lauren Strickland last year, I thought was dang good. I really like Brandon Joseph, too. I get, they had to cut him for whatever reasons, but they weren't football reasons. Across the board, you've got depth everywhere where everybody's coming in wanting to keep their spot and now get that other guy's snap. So I like it. JK, J-Lo, the ring win. We'll find out. Trina and Christina Conway, I just wanted to say good morning to everyone from Kalamazoo. Everyone have a great and safe, blessed Monday. Go Lions. Woo! Back at you. Bo, new opening is woo! I'm glad you like it, man. I spent like an hour or so on it last night. Coach Rock, they drafted a few beasts for both sides of the trenches. I agree with that. They addressed that 100%. Frank Tank, I will not predict Super Bowl because I know how hard it is to win it, but I predict by week 12, Detroit Lions will be favored. Number 1 team odds to win the Super Bowl. I like the way you're thinking, man. Silver, question mark. I think this year, Jameer Jefferson might be get a role this year. Why not? Question mark. Even D. Monty said that he is the most underrated player on the team. He has got it all, he said. I do remember Montgomery saying that. So Monty saying that. So let's see if he's right this year. All right, Courtney, thank you. Brad Holmes, exclamation point, A+ job on another Super Bowl type draft. Please tolerate us nervous Lions fans. Yeah, I get why everybody gets nervous, but hey, listen to some of the people just to get your own thoughts. Take your thoughts, listen to somebody else's, come to your own conclusions. How about that? JK, Brad and Pimp, might be, man, might be. Michael, got a feeling the offense isn't going to try and throw a lateral pass with 3rd and goal just to blow another game at the end zone. No, and I know I've pointed this out in the past on the show. You watch the playoff game, and it's part of my job is watching nonverbal communication or body language. And just for example, the 3rd and 1 play when we could have maybe got the first down. I think we're up 7-0 at that point. And then the one with the J-Mo trickeration pass. Watch MCDC's body language on the sidelines when those calls are made, when the guys break the huddle. I mean, before they've even gone to the line, you can see it's emotionally affecting him. He's not in with that play call, in my belief. JKZ I predict. I'm like the way you're thinking. Frank, don't want to be cocky, but I told you all to wide receiver will be drafted by the Detroit Lions team. I was with you. I had the Lions taking defensive tackle, offensive guard, wide receiver in that order. Look what panned out. Keith, good morning, greetings, salutations. Coach Dan, the Duke Crew, back at you. Keith, though, I think Z Smith is coming back, but isn't going to sign till training camp is over, and I don't blame him at his age. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on there. Gary, morning crew, back at you. Jason, hey, good to see you, man. It's been a hot second. I didn't like the draft class. We didn't take any top defensive edges, and that is our biggest hole right now. Yeah, the only thing I can say, Jason, is the team must believe they've got some answers that maybe just need a little bit more time to develop or get healthy or whatever, and maybe that's why they didn't address it sooner. At the end of the day, though, doesn't matter what I think, doesn't matter what anybody thinks. The guys on the field have got to go out and perform at this point. All right, Chuck, good morning, Duke Crew. It's good to see that we drafted some big guys and fast. Brad and Dan did a great job, exclamation point. Woo! Back at you, Tay-Main. Good morning, Duke Crew. Good morning to you. Frank, think all we need to remember 2023, what day grade is that class? I know a lot of national people were not a fan of the Lions draft class. I'd say it probably panned out now. JK, I bet we get a few or at least one undrafted free agent also. we've signed some real nice ones. And I like the guy who was just brought in, I think yesterday, maybe late last night, for training camp and stuff like that. I think we're all going to be happy to have him, and I'll do a story on it later. Kurt Steele, what up, Duke Crew? What's up, Man of Steel? Frank Tank players will make this team is called the practice squad. We all need to remember last year you need all players. You do need them all. Josh Jackson, oh yeah, I'm down with that. Big D, at first I was very upset off at this class and all the times we had opportunities to grab a, quote, top edge rusher, end quote. However, after watching all the highlights and doing BM, all right, I'm guessing that means you're probably happy. Gun guy, hey, another person I haven't seen in a hot minute. The Egyptian soldier. Yeah, he's done a pretty, I think he's made an impression on Lions fans already. I'll allow you to do that, my friend. Jackie Smith, good morning, everyone. Don't believe this is the best draft class, but I think it was good. I trust Brandon Dan. I hope they bring back Zadarius Smith. I think a lot of Lions fans want Z money back at this point. Big D, my own research, I'm in love with 4 out of 5. Hey, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Miles Mark, greetings, salutations, everyone. FYI, I same rhymes with Wolverine. All right, I'll go with that. Gun guy, Goff's O-line depth is deep. Yes, it is. They're going to be battling to make this team. Bo Booth, absolutely, Frank. Exclamation point. We use the PS as another extension on the roster. Think of all the vets on it last year. Correct with that. The practice squad. Correct. Big D, Ahmad will be a stud watch. I'm hoping so, man. Don Burt, Mel Kiper, yeah, got to go with that. Let's see, Silver Server, D-League is just what we wanted. Holmes said it in an interview that Williams was one of 2 defensive tackles in the class that have those certain traits and instincts and disruption. I bet the other one was Grant. Yeah, and that's why I had us take him in the second round, Grant, that is, but that was our defensive tackle I thought would be the number 1 pick. I thought you were kind of splitting hairs with the 2. So obviously they had a higher rating on Williams. Bo, All right, we'll go with that. Keith, Mel, A Clown. Oh, I see that. JK, anybody seen the Egyptian soldier and from Eatery Country video? The Egyptian warrior is all Assassin's Creed type. Yeah, he's a big dude. He's got a lot of athleticism, JK, for sure. I like his passion. Bert Keitho, what up, dude? Keitho, Mel, yes. See what you did there. Big D, love the Rattler. There you go. Yeah, Rattler, yeah, 100%. Hookadoo, morning, Miles Martin. Just want think we have the Egyptian sun god, and now Horus, the Egyptian god of power. Oh, yeah, I'm down with that. I hadn't even thought about that. Good point there, Hookadoo. Pierce, Don Burt, what's up, dude? Coach Rock, the media has had to apologize before the Lions on the so-called grades they have given them, but wait and see. Woo! Yes, I think at the end of the day, you got to see what the guys do on the field before you can really know what grades they get. Keitho, Don Bird, my brother, how do you like the draft? Don Bird, Pierce, what up, though, bro? Mouse Mark, very cool. Hookadoo, Silver. And talk about Grant, I am sure they tried to trade up, but guess what? Like we have said before in the draft, teams are going to become more difficult with Holmes. Prices are going up with him. Yeah, I think most of the NFL agrees the Lions have a pretty good idea for talent. And because of it, plus the success we've had, they probably don't want to trade as eagerly with us unless we do pay up a little bit. Noah Hassan, is this year's Rodrigo? Might be. Benjamin Brewer, in 3 years, we will know. Correct with that, my friend. Keitho, Bo Booth, I can see that. Chuck, Hassan, and Hutch, watch out quarterbacks. Yeah, they're coming after him. Let's see, Keith. Don Berg, Keitho, it's growing on me. Fair enough. JK, last year for iffy Broderick project expires. There you go. Yeah, Broderick, he's on the hot seat, man. And that hot seat is Flaming Cheetos hot seat. Or what do you want to say? Taki hot. Or I don't know, man. It's burning. How about that? Big D, Rodrigo with more of a motor. There you go. Keitho, Don Berg, same. I could see what Brad was doing this draft. Took me a minute to realize it, and I like the defensive tackle we got. Yes, me too, man. Me too. Scott, good morning. Duke Crew, same to you. Brian, morning. Good morning, everyone. I love the picks. Did possibly, but you do what you got to do to get better. But now, hopefully, we get better and get to the Super Bowl. Woo! Yes, at the end of the day, doesn't matter about anything. You're here to win the Super Bowl. Now go get it. Pierce Don Burt, draft is growing on me also. There you go. Silver, look how much he paid for Isaac. Yeah, Tesla. I'm calling Isaac. I like it better than Tesla. I am an old Lions fan, therefore I am optimistic. Hope Isaac becomes a sensation contributing this season. Big plays. He's versatile. I mean, the fact that you can play him at any 3 of the real wide receiver spots, I like that part. Plus his size, man. Frank Ting, Even if a couple guys don't work out, I do not believe Brad Holmes is still bad at 75% hit on the draft. Yeah, I know we talked about it in the past, but the average of the NFL is about 52 success rate with draft picks. Brad Holmes currently is at an 82, 83 rate. So, I mean, he's really crushing it with these draft picks. Pierce, it's literally a grit type of draft class. It is, man. It is a Lions type of draft class. Pierce, Don Burr, for sure. It was all grit warriors. There you go. JK, it's all about depth. No superheroes for weapons, in your opinion. There you go. So, how about Lovett? Question mark. He gets short targets, but got the speed, the acceleration, and the fluidity to get open downfield or going downfield after catches. Who knows? I love it. I see what you did there. I just don't know enough about him to have any kind of informed opinion, so I've kind of left him alone. I haven't been able to do enough time on researching him. Don Burr, if we get the Giovanni Manu up to speed, this young offensive line is going to be nasty, man. I understand, and I know we've talked about it. I think Skipper could be in a real tough spot here because Giovanni Manu, you see his youth, you see his promise, you see how the reports are he is developing. Somebody's got to go, and now you brought in a lot of young rookies on that offensive line. Could Glasgow be gone? Could Skipper be gone? Could Yoda be gone? There's going to be a battle in training camp to make one of those spots. Keith, we kicking Wingo out of the edge more. I can see it. Yeah, I think I'm on board with you, Keith, though. I think we're going to see Wingo out there and Levi out there more. All right, Pierce Dunbar, I am wondering where he plays. Could slide Panay over to like the Bucks did for Wirfs and plug Manu on the right. Could be. Maybe in the future, Panay slides over to left tackle. Manu takes over right tackle, and I probably wouldn't have any problems with it. So, sir, I wrote the same thing about Glasgow, but who is the backup center? We're going to find out, man. Don Pierce, I think that could be the plan. Could be. Legion says JK, Big D. I freaking so excited this off season. Working my money is on mean, clean Hussein. There you go. I'm down with that. I think I'd put some money on him. Aaron, I like to draft a former director of college scouting with the Rams. He sees something in the players and picks, lets him cook. Yeah, 100%. That is what Brad Holmes used to do, and I think he's done a pretty good job both the Rams and with the Lions. All right, Hun, Casey Rogers, Amin Hussein, see ball, get quarterback. Yeah, I'm down with that. Get him. Pierce Dunbar, once we can get out from under Decker's contract with minimal consequences. My guess is, and it's just a guess, this was probably Decker's last season as a Lion. Pierce Dunbar, remember Decker got an extension during the season. He did. Silver, Miles Adams might be better than many thought. A crowded room, but many on the one-year deal. They want to see want to play their best. Yeah, I think they're trying to push them to play their best. I don't remember. Does anybody remember if Pat O'Connor re-signed with the team? I don't remember off the top of my noggin. But if he did, think about just how much depth that defensive line now has. There's a lot of guys on there. Not everybody's going to make it. I got the ball, coach. There you go, Bo. Akito, a lot of the Hun. Casey Rogers going to get this D-line looking nasty? I think so. Hassanein equals Aaron Donald 2.0. I hope you are right with that. Domber, yes, Deck did, I believe, 2 years. Pierce, I'm still thinking, well, laughing out loud. It happens, man. Maybe, yes, a lot of the killer. There you go. Let's see, Frank Thing. If you play sports, you know competition brings the best out of me. I've been playing sports for 40 years and was overweight. Always had somebody trying to take my spot. Yeah, and that's where I think part of the brilliance, from the different reports that I talked to or people I talked to, I do think they're spot on with it. You look across the board, and there's just competition everywhere, other than maybe punter and kicker at this point. Who knows? Maybe Hendon Hooker is further along than we've all debated, and maybe he can at least keep golf on his toes. We'll see. Man Bear, good morning all. Wow, I lost track of time this morning. It happens, man. It happens to all of us from time to time. Pierce Dunbar, I think it was 3 years for Decker. Would be fantastic. There you go. Keto, a lot of the pump the brakes. There we go. Don, if it's 3 years, then the third year has to be lost cost. I'm excited, man. Yeah. Will he play 3 more years? I don't know. We'll see. Big D, I know Glasgow and Decker are on thin ice for real. Probably to some extent. Yeah, to some extent. Pierce, Big D, not much we can do with Deck since he got paid. He did get paid last year. I do recall that. JK, from marbles to pebbles, it's a win it all mode now. I think so. Southwest, hey, good to see you, man. It's been a hot second. The draft was a win. I hope so, man. Big D, pump the brakes. In your opinion, exclamation points. Sure, bus stopped until it proves it. There you go. Detroit Lions, bad guy. Lions draft C grade. Okay. Southwest, we got a chance to get revenge on all these so-called top-tier teams that couldn't beat us healthy. This is true. Don Burr, our draft wasn't sexy, but drafting the big uglies was a priority, and they did that in waves. Big D, Pierce, I know, but if somebody is clearly better, they will find a way. They will. Ryan, what do you got? Just about what I thought was going to happen in the draft. Hey, you foretold the future, my friend. So any idiot can see the Lions not making the playoffs, needs to be drug tested immediately. Hey, good services are available. Call them now. Don Burr, it's a C because of what I love to hear people explaining on this is usually hilarious. There you go. Me, Lou, we got 53 players making the team, 16 on practice squad, 53 plus 16 is 69. 95 minus 63, 26 won't make the team. Correct with that. Frank, I think it's funny that we all think we knew more about football than Brad Holmes. Hey, that's part of it, right? Every fan, we hear so much information from print media, what online media, whatever. You feel like you know enough, but to be honest, most of the people probably putting out those reports, how much do they know? So you got to take the information with a grain of salt. All right, Keith. I will give the draft a B right now, exclamation point. It's up to them to go up or get down from here. Go Lions, Super Bowl bound. Woo! I'm down with that. JK, they will drop dirty Southwest. Big D, I see what you did there, JK. Big D, good day. All thanks, Coach. Anytime, my friend. Have a great day. Coca, Edge is still coming. Let Brad cook. Might be true. Southwest, can we stop talking about the injuries, please? It's beginning to sound jankety. There we go. Peyton, what do you got? Got to remember, at one point, nobody in Detroit knew who Amon-Ra was either. We're going to be strong. Yeah, I think you're right with that. Believe in what they've done. They've proven they can ID talent, especially in the middle and later rounds. Keith, hold Davenport out until playoffs, maybe, if you want to keep him healthy. Bo, I think the clock is slow. Class dismissed. It might be true. Keith, please keep him in Davin bubble. There you go. Greg, Manistee, Ducru, good morning. All front four is reminding me Cord, Karras, Brown, and Williams. Hey, that's going back to the 70s, man. Southwest, it's a new season. Nobody is injured. Please stop talking about it before you speak it into the universe. This is correct. We'll try to keep that from happening. Miles Meyer, Hassanein. All right, I'm working on it. Thank you for that, Miles Meyer. Bo, let me try again. What do you think of the teacher will look like this year? I'm hot for teacher. Hey, that's a great old song. Hassanein, there we go. I got to work on it, man. Coach, let's just call him the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh it is. No, man, I'm going to work on the names. I'm going to show respect, but thanks for that, Silver. Bad guy, if we sign Z Smith back, I'll give the draft a B+. Okay. Mark, talked to some friends at Hillsdale, and they said Tesla is big, fast, super smart, and one heck of a worker. He fits Detroit. It's the reason why they gave up a lot to go get him. Let's hope they're right with that assessment. Pierce Domber also got plenty of Tesla jokes if you want to hear some. Hey, bring them on in. All right, guys, we've got about 2 or 3 minutes left. I'm going to power through, get some people who haven't been on as much. Mary, good morning. Let's see. Pierce Domber, 2 is our Tesla. It's the long range or performance model. How long do charge from Arkansas? We'll find out. Craig, I'd give the Lions a B+ in the draft. Exclamation point. Hopefully we can sign Za'Darius, and that would be complete this roster. I like the way you're thinking. Great Lakes, maybe we can use offensive linemen as gunners on kickoffs and punts. Maybe Mark K. All right, Mark's got something going on there. We'll find out. Richard, Matt Judon is available. He is available. Good call there. Phil, good morning. Aaron, I feel you, Don. Carrie, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, woo, back at you. Brent, skip the Bears. We'll go with that. Don, skip the Bears. We're skipping over the Bears, hopefully. Isaac Tesla over Landon Jackson. Hey, they've got a good grade on them. Let's trust in the process. Tesla ARP, there it goes. JK. Carrie, agreed. Don Burr. Southwest, we are a super contender. I'm not even worried about it. If there's no team at full strength, we cannot beat you. Same old Lions. Fake fans need to chill. Correct. Everybody take a deep breath. We're getting to the Super Bowl. Brent laughing. Don Burr. Pierce, you're on a roll. That's a good thing. Imagine if we got Landon Jackson instead of Isaac Tesla. Maybe, man. But obviously the team thought he was the better pick, so I'm going to trust them right now. Udo, golf, then we win the Super Bowl. Let's get the Super Bowl. I like it. Brent, keep Z in the D. I like that indeed. Don, haha, no one knew about Landon Jackson will pan out either in the NFL. He lasted a while. He did last a while. So, hey, that tells you what teams thought about him. Don, you're not making any sense. It happens, man. I do that from time to time. Dunk Kong, Super Bowl or bust, exclamation point. Excellent draft by Holmes per usual. I like that. Jason, I don't think the league is ready for us at full, complete, healthy capacity. I like that. Wenger, just enjoy the draft when we can. Also, let's hope we don't insult our God. John, good morning. Coach Dan Duku, back at you. The guy is a Christian. All right, I'm done with that. Levi Stadium or bust. I like the way you're thinking. Great Lakes, Glasgow back up this year. Maybe he is definitely on the hot seat. I would think so. 100%. Kerry, want the Australian rugby player? You want to pay attention. Keep your notifications on for later then. One Pride. If I'm Sorsdale, I'm keeping my bags packed. Seems like Logan Steinberg never developed quick enough. Yeah, could be true. Let's see, Andrew, we got some big boys. We did get big in there. We did indeed. Trumps, I bet this is Ragnar's last season too, unless his toe is better. Yeah, his toe and everything else. He's gone through some injuries. I think we all get that. Ron, yes, he did. Kurt Steele, busy morning. What did I miss? Hey, you'll have to watch the replay, man. Too much to go through. Fly Parks, see draft for Lions. Okay. Haven't traded. There you go. S. Scott. Offensively, they got better. Defensively, going to be a lot of shootouts. Maybe indeed. Big Belly, you. Is Jared Goff playing in the Hall of Fame game? That's a fair question, man. I don't know. I could see the guys playing some of the starters for maybe a series or two, maybe the first game, the second game, just to get them familiar with the new coordinators. But, if history's showing us anything, Brad Holmes just does, not Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell just doesn't go for that. Kurt Steele, we'll give our take on the new faces joining the Lions at 8. We'll get over there quick. Doug Kong, Motown Mitch, jealous people. All right, Motown Mitch, why is Brad Holmes' draft always start off to a C, ends up an A+? Hey, the national media shows what they don't and what they don't know. Stephen O'Connor had medically retired. Was it O'Connor? I thought it was, what's his name? The other guy that medically retired. I didn't think it was O'Connor. Maybe I'm wrong with that, though. See, Todd, the new draft players are going to surprise a lot of people, exclamation point, especially the edges. They all have that grit, drive, toughness you want in players. Yes, they do. Brian, draft B+++. I'm down with that. Happy trails, Duke Crew. I'm done dusting for another day. See you tomorrow. We'll see you then, Bo. So, let's see, Kurt. Stephen Wilson, that was Kaminsky, not O'Connor. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't remember his name off the top of my head. Okay, Happy Trails, One Pride, Moonscar Blade, let's see, Lions Roar, Bears, Dumb Y'all. I'm down with that. Kurt Steele, see you guys shortly. We'll see you in a hot second. Trump's God is great. Woo! I'm down with that. Brian, get Z, Force, and with Super Bowl bound. Woo! Have a great day. Well, have a great Monday. Same to you, my friend. B.A. Glasgow is going nowhere. However, he's not a starter. Now he's Frank's backup. That could be, man. That could be. Not O'Connor. Thanks you, Great Lakes. Brent, Happy Trails, Duke Crew, or Worldwide. There you go. Not laughers. It was Cumming that he was Kaminsky that retired. Great Lakes. Didn't hear that news about Kaminsky. Sad that he went out like that. It happens, man. It does happen for players. Roderick, defense was not that bad last season. Statistically, they were top 3. At least points allowed were good. Correct. Commish. Yeah, thank you for that. And then Bradley, solid draft A+. I'm done with that. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get over to you as soon as possible. I do have a second video coming later today. I'll get over to you. I think it's going to make a lot of people happy. Otherwise than that, be a good human being. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you could before checking out. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. And we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.